Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Crypto's News. It's me, Omar Bam, aka Crypto. Happy to be here in the new studio with you guys. I hope you're watching this live. If you're not, be sure to hit that subscribe and check back in at the very least, because with the new studio, I do hope to be a lot more consistent with making crypto videos for you guys, especially as there's just a lot more going on right now. There's a lot more hype. There's a lot more attention. I mean, we're talking the early throes of a bull market here for cryptocurrencies. If you guys have been looking at the prices, then you know what I'm talking about. And you're seeing madness and euphoria take off again all over Reddit, all over Twitter. But it's still the case, I think, where you're not hearing like family members and friends texting you and asking you about it yet. So probably still quite early, at least when it comes to the mainstream retail getting involved here. But for those of you guys who have been here during the bear market with me, congrats. We did it again. They said it wouldn't happen. They said we wouldn't survive, but here we are, barely. Anyway, hopefully everything's looking fantastic. I didn't really publish this stream. I know I'm a day late. Usually I do it on Wednesdays, and today is Thursday night, but I've spent the whole day trying to get everything ready, and I'm sure there's still plenty more that I can be doing to get it looking better, but at least the internet here seems to be much more stable for uploading, and I'm really excited about that. I'm excited for the quality of this channel to get back to where it's used to be, to give you guys the highest quality, frequent cryptocurrency information that I can do. So yeah, I've been continuing to follow this thing. I just haven't had a chance to make a video, but I did want to cover just some topics that have been coming up today, and then we'll get things going again more serious next week as we cover what happens. But yeah, it's been a lot. Let's start off, as we like to do, by looking at the cryptocurrency prices. So we currently have Bitcoin at $61,012. It looks like it changed there real quickly. $61,012.38, down 1.2% over the last 24 hours, and yet up a staggeringly 19% over the last 7 days. Phenomenal move there. Also, Ethereum, not a laggard, up 13.2% over the last 7 days and down 1.1% over the last 24 hours, pretty much about the same as Bitcoin. Ethereum is currently at $3,370.02. It was just last week or earlier this week. Yeah, I don't think it's even been 7 days that it finally crossed the $3,000 mark. And Bitcoin did pass the $60,000 mark, as you can see here clearly. It actually hit over $64,000 as it was getting ready for $65,000. It felt like that happened so quickly, but that's what we're talking about. Some of the least number of days of the year are where the most amount of gains are, which is why it's super scary to be short or to be on the sidelines sometimes when you don't know what's going to be happening with these very violent moves. There's Solana up 31.2% over the last 7 days. It has climbed back up. It had lost some of its gains, but it looks like it's climbing up again to some of the highs that it's seen recently. It's one of the stronger climbers today. It's up 9.9%. It previously hadn't been climbing as much as Bitcoin, Ethereum, or other altcoins, but it is now catching up. So we had a situation we'll cover in a minute, whereby you see this drop from $62,894 for Bitcoin. It was just climbing and climbing repeatedly, green after green candle, and then it just dropped down to $60,585. It managed to hold $60,000, but there was some news that drove that rather steep price decline rather. And I think it's nice to see that it held up quite well over $60,000. And has since recovered some strength as it's bounced off that level, and looks like it's trying to consolidate here for perhaps newer ground. I think it's nice to see it calm down a little bit. The higher and quicker it climbs, it gets just I guess through experience, and many of you have seen this as well. When it just continues to climb, it gets a little scary to stay in here because you know some sort of big drop is going to be happening. I'm hearing a lot of people not really. Basically, they're expecting that we're going to see another 30% drop in a short manner. I'm not sure that I expect that. A lot of this buying has been driven by the ETFs and other bullish things. For example, for Ethereum, again, I think finally some of these deflation narratives that have been happening that you can check out at ultrasound.money. That's the website. Some of that deflation finally beginning to get in here. You're seeing Ethereum getting staked and stake. Over 25% of all ETH is staked, as we've talked about before. That makes it slightly more liquid. It takes some time in order to withdraw that. I think it takes about 10 days right now in order to unstake. I could be wrong on that exact number, but that's what I had last checked. So you have that narrative taking place. You have more and more accrual and demand for this, especially as an ETF is coming up. So these kinds of parallels are just being a real rocket fuel here. And I think Ethereum, just like Bitcoin, tends to drag up the whole market. So that's part of what we're seeing. What's going on, those of you guys who are joining us at this rather late hour? It might be early where you're at, but I hope you're doing awesome. Feel free to enjoy the chat. I haven't seen any commenting here, but it would be nice to see that. Remember, hit the like button if you're watching this live or later on. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. Chris Dunn had this to say: Bitcoin just closed its biggest month ever in USD gains. It's up $18,000 and one of its largest percentage gains ever over the last month, 44%. So astounding. I think we might be underappreciating here just how high we might be going in this bull market because of what's going on here and all these different things that are taking place, the halvening coming up, dropping block reward issuance, and so much else. I mean, it's really hard to just keep track of all this right now, all of these different bullish dynamics. But I also am kind of slightly aware in my own mind that these thoughts tend to happen in the bull market. You're going to be thinking it's going to go up forever. It's going to just keep climbing. You're going to be rich and so on. And it just tends to not play out that way. There are a lot of pitfalls that can occur, a lot of quick trades that might not work in your favor, trying to get greedy and use leverage. You got to be careful and keep yourself in check. I'll remind you guys here. So Bitcoin all-time high, still quite a ways from inflation adjusted prices, that is. So if we adjust from the previous high, we're actually looking at about a $77,000 Bitcoin price that we need to see here in the United States to adjust for inflation. So we're not even there yet. Although I'm hearing now people saying, hey, look, my portfolio is finally in the green. I bought at $60,000 years ago, and I was in the red this entire time. I held on, and finally it's in the green. So props to those people. I mean, that's diamond hands in a kind of way. Something got them to become interested in it, even at such a high price, and yet they stuck around. I think there's something to say about that. They obviously did their research, and that's why they didn't sell. They weren't just the weak paper hands who just bought because everyone else was buying and suddenly thought it was dead. So props to those few who did manage to hold on despite buying at rather high prices. Balaji had this: Bitcoin has passed all-time highs already in 30 plus countries, including China and India. And that can happen oftentimes because of illiquidity. There's not as much on the order books in some of these countries. And when you're seeing inflation take place around the world, more and more people are perceiving Bitcoin as a safer and safer hedge. So I think that's part of what's driving this as well. And crypto has become a lot more closed off when it comes to the exchanges that you can sell at, the exchanges that you can access in your country because of Know Your Customer, which has almost captured crypto, at least in the United States, in such a big way. So we are kind of a lot more locked in versus when I started off and everything was this idea of being open and exchanges weren't super heavily surveilled by the regulators and so on. And you could just go to whatever exchange, deposit, buy. And I actually kind of rather like that in a way. Yeah, you did have scrupulous players out there. There were a lot of exit scams over the years, but at the same time, it created a fair market all around the world because it meant that you could take advantage of arbitrage. If you saw that some sort of Indian exchange was selling for a lower price or a higher price, whatever, you could take advantage of that, move that cryptocurrency to a different exchange, and then pocket the difference. And that created orderly markets that were a lot more efficient. Now with all these closed exchanges and KYC, you do see more disparity between the prices. So it's a little bit disappointing, but at least we have decentralized exchanges to keep things a little bit fairer here. Yo, what's up, Mastermind? Nice to see you. Yeah, this does feel a lot like 2017 to me. Yeah, and the comment for those of you guys who might not be able to read it for whatever reason, maybe you're driving. This is 2017 style bull run, said Mastermind on steroids. Market chose Solana as the winner. This is Solana's cycle, in my opinion. I do have a small stake in Solana. I'd probably say it's like maybe 8% of my holdings are currently in Solana. And I feel the same way. I think that just like you've seen with XRP in the past or Chainlink, the market tends to choose something, and it can be difficult with all the noise to kind of determine with that what that exactly is. But to me, it does seem clear, especially during the bear market, that Solana was going to be a preferred choice here for the coin that had a smaller market cap and could potentially provide outsized gains because of so many different other dynamics. And it's gone down so much, it's apparent that people do not care about a blockchain that goes down. So whatever, I guess we'll hold some Solana and see how that plays out. Personally, I haven't actually interacted with the chain. I've just bought it and held it. But we'll see where it's gone. I've actually made quite a profit already on it. And I do have some staked on there through Coinbase, and it's giving me a few bucks a month. So yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see that happen, but this does feel a lot like 2017. What I was going to get at was that 2021, during that supposed bull market, it didn't really feel like a bull market to me. It was not anything like 2017 with the craziness that happened back then. It had a different taste to it. I know every single cycle has a different flavor to it, but it just didn't feel like anything really, really major. Like it does feel to me we are in the throes of witnessing right now. It's an internal thing. I guess you had to be there. Mastermind clearly was. Thesis of Solana is where ETH was last cycle. Perhaps, man. I still think when it comes to ecosystem, developer account, open, distributed, like crazy pushing technology stuff, Ethereum is a leader here. But just like with Bitcoin having cemented its place as a blue chip, I think Ethereum is not going anywhere. And it doesn't really matter to me if Solana was to replace Ethereum or anything like that. But I still think that it's got huge potentials to climb as people don't want to buy this super expensive coin and want to buy something else. And we could very well be surprised, you know. And maybe it'll come very, very close to flipping it. Will it flip in Ethereum? I personally doubt it, but it doesn't matter because it's still quite a ways off from it. Last bull was a test pump for this. Yeah, kind of feels like that for sure. So this is something that keeps coming up. So Bitcoin Magazine here posted this on Twitter. Spot Bitcoin ETFs bought over 9,000 Bitcoin yesterday, while miners for Bitcoin only produced 900 Bitcoin. So this was posted on February 27th. So he's referring to February 26th, which is 3 days ago, since today is the 29th. I think it's a leap year. I don't know. Februarys are weird, man. But anyway, point being, like 10 times more Bitcoin was purchased by ETFs than was produced. And if this was after the halving coming up this summer, then it would have been only 450 Bitcoin produced by miners. So I think the strength of the halving of the block reward is really going to be coming up here. People have talked about how it might not matter at these prices, but I think that just might not be the case. There's less and less Bitcoin out there. More and more hoarders, especially now as Bitcoin moved away from this idea of being an electronic cash for the new internet, for the digital world, and becoming more of less of a transactional thing and more of digital gold 2.0. You just buy it, hold it. At the very least, it retains its value in an era of inflation. I personally think Bitcoin can do both. I think there's still room for like side layers for Bitcoin to come out here that prove popular and are available for folks. But it is that kind of scenario. Like, why would you sell something that's going up? It doesn't make sense. That's why people still use their fiat currencies in a kind of way. Why sell something that's going to go up in value when instead you try to get rid of the cheaper thing, right? It's like Gresham's law. You try to get rid of the worst currency first. So once fiat is all destroyed and burnt up and is really truly valueless, then maybe there'll be room for Bitcoin to be peer-to-peer cash. And it very well could be. I think still that could be the case. But at this time, early days, it makes sense to me that it's more of this digital gold 2.0 narrative. And that's something, again, that I think a lot of old timers, you talk about the boomer generation and so on, who have a lot of the wealth here in the United States especially, and I'm sure it's the same in Europe and elsewhere, You hear about like Generation Z having more depression than ever, and all these younger generations, mine included, that just feel disheartened, like they can never buy a house. They feel super left behind, and it looks like the whole world is either owned by a boomer or by BlackRock. It can be extremely disheartening. So for us to have the ability to actually own something, property rights to matter, I think cryptocurrency is important, an important piece of that to enable for the ability for folks to be able to perhaps even afford these things in the future. I mean, if there was some sort of housing crash, and I wouldn't wish it, of course, because I think it would hurt a lot of folks. It would hurt, I think, your families. It would hurt some of you guys who own property. But I think a lot of this crypto money would be chasing that, especially if it continues to climb and younger generations have bought it, like you've seen. And they'll use that to eventually perhaps be able to buy housing or whatever else. That would be, I think, interesting to see happen. Really a way for us to get forward, younger generations, move forward here. So service interruption. So this is what I was talking about when I referred to the Bitcoin price dropping from $62,894 down to $60,585. So this happened yesterday. As soon as I woke up and opened up Reddit and started checking out the cryptocurrency Reddits, a big theme was basically how Coinbase was having all sorts of issues. People were getting really, really scared. You saw the price stop climbing, in fact, start going backwards. It looks like there were service interruptions, not only at Coinbase, but also at Robinhood and at Kraken. People were pulling up Coinbase and seeing that their total asset value was $0. Folks who had like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars opening up their Coinbase and seeing $0, you can imagine why they would panic. Like, is this some sort of hack? What's going on here? Was it personal? Is it a UI thing? But more and more people started realizing, hey, it looks like Coinbase is just down. You could go to status.coinbase and you could see that there were service interruptions and they were investigating it. They said, we are aware that some users may see a zero balance across their Coinbase accounts and may experience errors in buying or selling. You couldn't buy or sell. The status page disclosed, our team is investigating this issue and will provide an update shortly. Your assets are safe. So like people breathed a sigh of relief, but the price did not immediately start climbing. It took some time for that. I think it just gave like a nice little bit of a pause, like stuff can go wrong, right? And people saying this is some sort of conspiracy. They're trying to stop folks from buying or why would they try to stop folks from buying or selling when that's how they make such a huge majority of their profits is on these outrageous fees? Like, doesn't really make any sort of sense. So again, this was confirmed, just issues because you had crazy amount of people getting interested and logging in and trying to buy or sell or whatever, check their accounts, and it ground these exchanges to a halt. The CEO of Coinbase then wrote later on, in some sort of post-mortem, I guess you could say, apps are now recovering. We had modeled a 10 times surge in traffic and load tested it. This exceeded that number. So, I mean, it's tricky running a cryptocurrency company. We've seen it time and time again. Surge in demand, bull run, excitement for whatever reason, these exchanges go down. And Coinbase had talked about a lot in the bear market, how they were future-proofing. They were getting the exchange ready to handle volume. But it looks like they only tested for 10 times the volume. But we know this is just proof of how crazy things can get, how manic things can become in cryptocurrency in such a short time. They were not ready for this. It's expensive to keep services over-provisioned, he wrote, but we'll need to keep working on auto-scaling solutions and killing any remaining bottlenecks. Thank you for bearing with us. Good times. So on Bitcoin subreddit, somebody said the server crash of Coinbase is a titanic bullish signal. So what is everyone going to think? Oh my God, Coinbase is unreliable. Better move to a cold/hot wallet. You're going to see tremendous exchange outflows, and that makes BTC even more scarce in the market. You better wear your seatbelt, guys. I'm legitimately scared. Yes, as these exchanges have issues, it reminds people to pull their cryptocurrency out of these exchanges because you have to be willing to lose it if it's on an exchange due to hacks, due to maybe a mistake you made, so many other things. I was reading a story about some individual. I didn't dive too deep into it, but he had opened up a Binance trading account. He was posting about it on Twitter today. Maybe some of you guys don't know what I'm talking about. And it looks like his account was showing $0 or like $5, something really, really small. And it seemed like there were a bunch of trades that were executed on his behalf, even though he had 2FA on his account and other things. So I'm not entirely sure how that happened. It might have been some sort of UI glitch, but I don't know how that occurs. But all sorts of issues that are taking place, and it does lead to greed on behalf of some of the shadier projects. It does lead to exit scams, rug pulls, and this is the kind of thing that eventually starts creating a bad taste in people's mouth. So I don't know. I hope it's a lot less of that. I hope people are a lot more prepared and educated, and I hope that Gary Gensler. We're not going to do the whole thing, but to Gary Gensler, please protect us from these shady cryptocurrency markets rife with terrorists terrorizing us and rife with money laundering. We don't like to launder. We want our dirty bills dirty. Please protect us, Gary, from up on high on your SEC chair. Thank you. I hope you're watching this, Gary. And that's from all of us. I'm sure you guys would agree. So Crypto Fear and Greed Index at alternative.me. This tracks just how much excitement is taking place. It looks like a lot of different things to figure out what is going to be creating or what is extreme fear and what is extremely greedy. They gather data sources from 5 different kinds of sources: volatility, market momentum and volume, social media sentiment analysis, surveys. It says here currently paused on strawpoll.com. They're currently not doing surveys. Dominance, so the market cap shares of a whole crypto market, and trends. They look at Google Trends to analyze this. So that's how they get to this right now. And we're looking at extreme greed, 80. Some see this as potentially a reason to sell once it gets really high up there. Might be the time to take profits. And same on the reverse, when it's all the way down in the red and there's extreme fear, that's usually time to buy the blood and buy the blood on the streets and so on. But yeah, this can continue on, I'll remind you guys, for a long time. You can see extreme greed continue for a long time, same as extreme fear. So I wouldn't really take it as a signal. It's more for entertainment than anything, but it does go to show that the sentiment is definitely shifting in a northern direction, or has been for Bitcoin. What's up, Winston? Winston's over here by the drum set. You guys probably see it. Finally got my drum set set up. I haven't had it set up since I lived in Las Vegas, so nice to jam out for a little bit. Crypto exchange BitForex. So this does seem like it was an exit scam. This is a project that I had used back in, 2018, 2019. Some of you guys might remember I was still in Los Angeles at the time. And it to me was interesting because it was a non-KYC exchange that could allow you to do leverage. You could go YOLO long, YOLO short. And that was pretty great. It was harder and harder to do that. Back in the day, you could even do that on Coinbase, believe it or not. You could margin trade long and short on Coinbase, but that was kind of a disaster for many different reasons on Coinbase. But at BitForex, that became where I went to afterwards. And I used it for a little while. Eventually, I realized, I was losing more money than I was making leverage trading. I've talked about being extremely careful with that ever since. And it looks like they're going down. So they had suspended withdrawals following a $56 million drain of their hot wallets. So basically on February 23rd, they were hacked. They stopped withdrawals. And on February 26th, the crypto exchange's website, BitForex.com, went offline completely. It was also notable because this is one of the exchanges that offered the ability to buy certain tokens that you weren't able to at other venues. I think it was something like Beam that I was buying on there as well, or trading on there, that I wasn't as easily able to access in other venues, and I was trying to mine that early on. So to me, it was interesting for that purpose alone. But some of these small exchanges, you got to be careful. You got to get your money in and out, right? I never left anything on there long term. But if you did, I really apologize for that, for you guys potentially having any money and losing it. But just the beginnings here of these kinds of exit scams. As the prices climb, I think sometimes teams get greedy. It looks like about a month ago, the CEO of BitForex had stepped down, Jason Luo, and it's just surprising, right? The hot wallet hack happens right afterwards. My gut reaction is that it's an inside job, and then the team stops responding to social media completely and then goes offline their website. It just looks rather shady. And you can see that their last post here was on February 20th. What are the top encryption projects in 2024? And they have not posted any sorts of updates since. If you try to go to their website, at least when I try to go to the website, it says, sorry, you have been blocked. You aren't able to access bitforex.com. I don't know. Maybe we will hear an update. I don't see anything really confirmed right now that it's over and all funds are completely lost, but it certainly looks like it is the case here with bitforex.com. So another one in the graves of history. Edward Snowden had this to say yesterday. Prediction: a national government will be revealed this year to have been buying Bitcoin, the modern replacement for monetary gold, without having disclosed that fact publicly. Prediction. That's like such a specific prediction, Edward Snowden. It does make you think like maybe he actually knows something, because he's not saying that they're going to start buying. He's saying that it's going to be revealed that they've been buying. I personally think that it is the case that they're probably buying some national government, small or otherwise, probably doing so. The prediction, I have to agree here with Colin Talks Crypto, probably not the USA. They instead prefer to confiscate it. They steal Bitcoin in a kind of way. They steal stolen Bitcoin, or many other ways that they manage to put it in their coffers. But yeah, the U.S. has plenty of Bitcoin. They didn't buy it though. But I think that it is the case. You're going to see treasuries added to national reserves, and this is going to be something along ETFs and along public retail demand that is going to be making these things ever scarce, and people getting scared and putting them on their hot wallets because they don't want to lose funds on an exchange, meaning less liquidity, less out there in the order books available to buy. And that means the price just has to go up as it gets bought, and at whatever smaller amounts are at certain price levels. So I think like following these markets is a great way to educate yourself on how the world works and how money works. And for many people, that's really the red pill here. Bitcoin is a red pill because it teaches you so much about how the way that money works and how we've been deceived so many different ways. Inflation came out today hotter than expected, high. Federal Reserve unlikely to raise interest rates again, because that just means that they're going to have to service and print more money for the national debt, and that is going to make inflation even higher. There's really no way out of this inflation, but I think more and more of it will eke into cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. So I think strap your seatbelts, guys. I don't know if this will be the one where there's a giant financial collapse and finally money seeps into Bitcoin, but this cycle could be what very well sets up the stage for that. Where it gains more trust with these things like ETFs out there and these huge institutional players that have a stake now in cryptocurrencies, at least Bitcoin, but I think Ethereum will follow suit, and who knows what else afterwards in ETFs. And then they do want to see them succeed. They do want them to be available. They do not want them to be banned, and they will fight with their huge amounts of capital reservations, I guess you could say, to ensure the ensured success of these things. Point being, I think Bitcoin is setting itself up to be what, we've been waiting for. The Federal Reserve currency, the international currency of the world, of the entire universe, of the galaxy. Let's put it that way. I mean, have you guys seen the video? I should have pulled it up, of like Tesla and how many ships have been launching. It's like a time-lapse video going back to like 2012 or something. And you just see it's just crazy how much stuff we're putting in space. And so, yeah, we're going to have a currency for space too. Space-proof currency. I like this here. I think it's food for thought. This was posted by Yano. I have to agree with a lot of these points. There are 4 phases of a bull market. We just entered stage 2. Stage 1 is the rebirth. The exhaustion from the bear market still exists. Sparks of hope pop up, then fade. A few new narratives arise but are quickly killed by apathy. Your friends and the media still focus on the bear market blowups. All the while, prices are quietly recovering. Your investment down 90% and the bear just went up 5x. But you barely notice you're still down 50% off that high. Only the deepest crypto natives who have seen 2+ cycles realize that the bull market has begun. Most people are still in disbelief that this is the bull market. Stage 2, excitement. We're here now. Stage 2, the bear market has officially ended. Your coins are nearing all-time highs. Some have even blown past all-time highs. Everyone in crypto understands that we are officially in a bull. But it's funny, your normie friends still aren't texting you. Oh, they will. You're a weird combo of excited and anxious. Your stack is growing, but you feel like you don't own enough coins. Your company starts hiring. You start ordering guac at Chipotle again. Life is good. All your crypto friends are winning. This is the calm before the storm. Stage 3, euphoria. Everything you own blows past all-time highs. There used to be a new narrative every week. Now there's a new one daily. The private market gets crazy. Venture capitalists announcing $500 million funds. They skip due diligence and race to deploy. Every week a new company announces their $100 million raise. We're mainstream again. Forbes, Bloomberg, CNBC, they love crypto. Then weird things happen. Fortune 500s buy Bitcoin. Athletes and artists get involved. Crypto permeates mainstream culture. Everyone starts to believe it's going up forever. Delusion seeps into decisions. Stage 4, disconnection. This stage could also be described as insanity. I know it happened to me. Nothing makes sense anymore. You have more money than you ever thought you'd have in your life. Your friend, who knows nothing about crypto, launches a token. He's worth hundreds of millions overnight. A crypto person buys a sports team. Justin Bieber joins a decentralized social media platform. Crypto companies spend billions on marketing. Unfortunately, none of it is real. If you're not careful, your arrogance and laziness in the stage will cause for a tough next 2 years. So buckle up. The next 18 months will be madness. You'll experience higher highs than you ever have before. Make sure you take time to enjoy it every once in a while. When you get overwhelmed, step away from the computer, slow down, and go for a walk. Touch grass, as it were. Now let's build. So yeah, and it looks like he has one here on the bear market as well. I'm not going to get into it and read that whole thing now. I think you guys get it, and you can check it out for yourself. So that's Jason Yanowitz on Twitter, the founder of Blockworks. Ooh, I actually watch Blockworks all the time. Excellent YouTube channel. It's not just crypto-centric. They talk macro, excellent guests, different narratives. I like the host. So yeah, check out Blockworks if you guys get a chance and you have yet to do so. Do highly recommend that. And I will, hey, what's up? I'm sorry, I haven't checked out the chat here. What's up, Renee? Nice to see you. Soda Popensky, Metal Gear MK3, Pothead. Yeah, the average house is 600,000 USD. Yeah, that's way up there. I mean, we're just trying to save enough for down payments at this point. Let's be real. Metal Gear. Anyway, I hope you guys make it out to the next show and that I can catch you. And if you enjoyed this one, be sure to hit a like. And if you didn't enjoy it, please let me know in the comments what we can do to make it better, or just anything we can do to make the show better for you guys. I'm stoked to be here in the new studio, and I am super appreciative you got the chance to check this one out. And I just hope the quality was good. But like I mentioned, the internet is a lot better here, so our stream should be a lot more stable and finally ready for consumption. It was a year of you guys dealing with technical hiccups, and I don't want it to be the case anymore. Thanks for the patience, guys, and support. And I will leave you guys with a quote of the day. There's a lot of time in time, right? There's a lot of moments in life, and I saw this quote like 2 days ago, and I try to remember it as often as possible. And it definitely makes my day better. So I share it with you guys. If you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong. Groucho Marx. Take care, everyone. Much love and stay cryptic. Peace.